Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about fluid pressure and its measurement, the first part of this chapter. Okay, now in this video lecture we will discuss about pressure head, Pascal's law and atmospheric gauge and absolute pressure. So what do you mean by fluid pressure? See here in a container I am putting some fluid in it. This fluid will exert a pressure that is equal to weight by cross-sectional area in the bottom and a linearly varying pressure on the sides. So this weight by cross-sectional area or bottom cross-sectional area, they will give you the pressure exerted by this fluid on the base. So let's discuss what is pressure head. See here there is a vessel in which we are inserting a column. The weight of the liquid in this column is capital W. The bottom cross-sectional area is capital A. The head of water here is small h. Here we know that weight is equal to weight density into volume. The volume here is capital A into small h. So we know that pressure is equal to weight of this liquid divided by cross-sectional area. So it will give you weight density into A into H by capital A. So you get that pressure is equal to weight density into small h. This is our derivation. So pressure, this can be expressed as Newton per meter square, kilonewton per meter square or kPa kilopascal or Newton per mm square or MPa. Okay, so also this pressure can be expressed as height of liquid column. See here, there is a liquid column of height small h. So we get a pressure of weight density into that small h. So pressure can be also expressed as small h, that is height of liquid column, height of equivalent liquid column. In that sense, this can be pressure can be also expressed in meter or millimeter. Okay, now we'll do a problem based on this. Before that, for water, what is the density, weight density? That we'll just rewind. So weight density is equal to rho g. So that will be 10 to the power of 3 kilogram per meter cube into 9.81 meter per second square, that is G value. So that will give you 9810 Newton per meter cube or 9.81 kilonewton per meter cube. This is the value of weight density of water. For any other oil or any other liquid, this has to be multiplied with that liquid specific. This value has to be multiplied with that liquid specific gravity. So that is regarding pressure head. Now we will discuss a question based on this. What is the height of oil column of specific gravity 0.9 equivalent to a gauge pressure of 20.3 kPa? So we have already got the pressure here and the weight density we know that 9.81 is for liquid column, sorry, water column. Here it's oil column, so its specific gravity is given. So into 0.9 will give you weight density of that oil column into H. This H has the height of oil column we have to find out. So taking this side, you will get 20.3 divided by 0.9 into 9.81. So the height of oil column will be 2.3 meter. So that's done. Now the next one, that is Pascal's law. So Pascal's law, what we are basically concerned with here in this liquid column, we are taking a triangular element in this, okay, for derivation of this Pascal's law. That triangular column has a weight downwards, that which we are ignoring because that is only a very small area, so we are ignoring that area. So that weight. Okay, so here basically Pascal's law states that intensity of pressure at any point in a fluid at rest is the same in all direction. It means that the pressure in x direction is given by small px and pressure in y direction is given by small py and pressure in z direction is given by small pz, or z direction basically means here as a diagonal direction. So it means that Pascal's law states that pressure px, small px is equal to small py is equal to small pz. Okay, when the fluid is in rest. Okay, let's prove this one. Here we will have pressure forces as capital P Z, capital Z. Everything capital I'm representing here as forces. Okay. Capital PZ will be pressure in Z direction into its area, that is AB into 1. Here that is acting on AB into 1 area. So AB into 1. Then pressure in Y direction, pressure force, okay, in Y direction is equal to pressure in Y direction into its area, that is BZ into 1. Similarly, pressure force in X direction is equal to pressure in X direction into its area, that is AC into 1. So you will get pressure forces like this: PZ, PY, Px. So here there is angle theta. So resolving this, we will get Pz into cos theta is equal to Py. So this is resolving forces. So but we know that Pz is equal to Pz into AB into 1. So 1 I am neglecting. So into cos theta. That is Py. Py here means Py into, that is small py into BZ into 1. But we know that AB cos theta is equal to BC. That is, here this is hypotenuse. Hypotenuse into cos theta becomes BZ. So this and this get cancelled out. From this you get that PZ is equal to PY. Similarly, if I'm taking resolving forces in sine direction, that is PZ into sine theta. PZ into sine theta. It becomes PX. So we'll get Pz, as from this we get small pz into AB into 1, okay, into sine theta. That is equal to capital Px means small px into AC into 1. But we know that AB sine theta is equal to AC from this figure. This figure. So this cancels out. From here we get Pz is equal to Px. From this and this one we can easily find out that pressure in X direction is equal to pressure in Y direction is equal to pressure in Z direction. That's what was Pascal's law states. So that's done. Now the next one. We have to study about three kinds of pressure. First one is atmospheric pressure. What does that atmospheric pressure name suggest you? It's the pressure exerted by the atmosphere. What is there in atmosphere? The air, right? So the pressure exerted by air, that is weight of air by unit area in which it is acting, gives you atmospheric pressure. This weight of air, it vary because it depends on weight density, right? So this weight density quantity, rho value, will depend upon the humidity, temperature, and other factors. So always for air, this weight density vary means that there is variation in the atmospheric pressure. So this we have to take it as a constant value for our calculation. So what we will do, at the mean sea level or the sea level, we will calculate its value, or we will calculate its value in terms of liquid columns. So for the sea level, if there is 1 meter square area and in that the air weight of air is acting as 103, we take that value as 103 kilonewton. So 103 kilonewton by meter square will give you the pressure or atmospheric pressure. Or in terms of liquid column, it will be 10.3 meter of water column or 760 of HGL or mercury column. Mercury column. Okay, that is regarding atmospheric pressure. Now, what is gauge pressure? Gauge pressure. So, gauge pressure means that it is a pressure which is taken using instruments. Okay, which is measured using instruments. So this pressure, we take atmospheric pressure as the datum. Datum means it's a 0 point. So atmospheric pressure as datum. Atmospheric pressure as datum. Datum means zero value. So from zero axis, if we take any value above, that will be positive, and below that will be negative. So that this above this atmospheric gauge pressure, sorry, above this atmospheric pressure, what value is measured? That is positive gauge pressure. And below atmospheric pressure, what value is measured is negative gauge pressure, or we call it as vacuum pressure. Vacuum pressure. From this figure, we will get this. Y-axis is pressure. So here, this is our datum, that is the atmospheric pressure value, or 103 kilonewton per meter square, or 10.3 meter of water column, or 760 mm of Hg. So in this datum 0 point or datum or 0 point, if you take the value of gauge pressure, the above value will be positive gauge pressure and below this will be negative gauge pressure or vacuum pressure. Okay, that is regarding gauge pressure. Then the next one is absolute pressure. Absolute pressure. Absolute pressure means that it's the algebraic sum of atmospheric pressure and gauge pressure. Here we have to put plus or minus because see here from this figure it is very easy to understand. See, these two are the absolute pressures. If the gauge pressure is positive, then this will become, if gauge pressure is positive, then the absolute pressure becomes atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. See this one, this is gauge pressure is positive here. So that will be atmospheric pressure plus this value. So that will be, this one will be this to this. So that is absolute pressure. But if in case gauge pressure is negative, see this is the negative value of gauge pressure. Okay, so atmospheric pressure minus this value will give you the absolute pressure here. See this one. This is the absolute pressure here. So that is regarding absolute pressure. It is an algebraic sum of atmospheric pressure and gauge pressure. If gauge pressure is positive, then it becomes atmospheric pressure plus gauge pressure. But if gauge pressure is negative, then it becomes atmospheric pressure minus gauge pressure. So I think I'm done with this video. If you like this video, do subscribe, share with your friends and press the bell notification. Thank you for watching my video.